Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining the call. Just wanted to do a brief introduction of our speaker, or resource person for this evening. Miss Au Soriano is the founder of PinoyTravel. It's a travel and tourism startup. One of the first startups that participated in the IdeaSpace acceleration program, and pretty relevant as well. Yun, as I mentioned earlier, just for the benefit of the people who are new to the call or who have just joined the call. Now, Miss Au has been working from home, or been doing a work from home arrangement since 2017. So our discussion for tonight is really to talk about best practices for work from home arrangements. We're not prescribing that there's just one way to do this. Of course, there's different strategies for working from home, and different tools that might be useful to you. And there's also a bit of differences that come in when it comes to industry, but we just wanted to share Miss Au's experiences, lalo na that a lot of us might be new to this, given the community quarantine. So I guess let's get to it. So Miss Au, can you tell us a bit about how you decided that a work from home arrangement might be better for you, and when you started experimenting with working from home?
Okay, so we won the IdeaSpace competition in, I think, 2013. We were the very first batch. So yung rule kasi sa IdeaSpace is they will house you for 6 months, but after 6 months, you are expected to the IdeaSpace office and being on your own. So the first 6 months of Pinoy were co-located with IdeaSpace in PLDT office. So that was the very first IdeaSpace office kasi in Makati. So yung experience lang namin during that time was that even in 2000, so this is 2000, for 2013.
Yes.
Even during that time, traffic was already bad.
Yes.
So, but we had no choice because it was mandated that to be co-located. And during the time kasi hindi pa uso ang work from home eh. Internet was very slow, so people are not used to time. So we really had no choice. But after IdeaSpace kicked us out, so which is after the incubation period, we really had no choice. So we started looking for an office outside. But definitely we didn't want to go to Makati. Kasi I live in Quezon City. Most of my co-founders, well, actually 3 of my co-founders are based in Makati din eh. But we've decided that Makati may not be the best for us because expensive ang rental sa Makati. So, unfortunately, being a startup, we didn't have a lot of budget. We didn't have any revenues at that time. So, nakita namin na those office spaces that we can afford really sucks. So, it's not very conducive for working. Especially for most of us, no? Kasi yung mga co-founders ko are coming from big companies also. Me, I was coming from Smart. So, sanay ako ng maganda yung office namin. So I felt really bad when the offices that we can afford look like, what it was. So, what I've decided to do is, kasi meron akong spare na condominium that we didn't use in Rockwell, the Grove. So we said, okay, let's just use my condominium as office kasi it's still a lot better than any of the offices that we can afford. So of course, I didn't charge the company for that. So that was the first thing that we did, no? So the very first version of IdeaSpace was actually created in my condo, which became our office at that time. So it was nice kasi people can sleep, people can cook.
Yes.
there's internet, so it was actually okay.
Yeah.
Until such time, we realized na even going to the condo was also very, alam mo yun, nahihirapan din yung iba kasi magko-commute pa, mahirap ang parking, and all of those issues. So this is 2014. So we
Yes.
said na lang in 2014, o sige, let's work from home. Let's meet na lang mga 3 times a week. So that's what we did. So everyone was following the 3 times a week meeting. Until such time, everyone was like, ang dami ng dahilan why we can't go to the office. So we started talking na lang online. And then the company started to grow. We started hiring some people. And I realized na the condo wasn't big enough or conducive enough for a bigger team. So before kasi 5 lang kaming nagtatrabaho ng full-time.
Yes.
So I moved the office. So from my condo, I moved to my house here in Quezon City. So kasi my kids are already grown. They're both in college. My husband goes to work. So during the day talaga, the house is practically empty. So it's just me. So I said na lang, so with the growing staff, sabi ko dito na lang tayo sa bahay ko, I dedicated an area. So this place that you can actually see in the background, this is kind of big then. This was our office. This became our office. So nagsiset up lang kami ng table in the middle. So we have fast internet. I have a big screen TV that we use for presentations. So we would even held meetings here with clients. No? So siniset up lang namin na mukha talaga siyang office to kind of impress din naman yung mga guests namin.
Yes.
So it was okay for a while until, it became the same thing. So people are having a hard time coming over, especially here kasi it's inside the village. Kung wala kang sasakyan, talagang mahirap. So sinusundo ko pa sila somewhere, and then we realized na, this actually doesn't make sense anymore. So from 3 times a week, we cut it down to 1 day a week that we will meet. And then even yung 1 day a week, pag darating na yung meeting time namin, so lahat kami may dahilan kung bakit hindi matutuloy. So nangyayari, yung once a week na yon naging twice a month na lang.
Yeah.
And then eventually, it came to a point na I actually realized that we are more efficient when we are online. Kasi napansin ko, when we are together, half the time was puro chit-chat. So, puro chismis, kwento. So, which is actually great, no? Kasi na-foster namin yung friendship within the team.
Yes.
But of course, if you are the owner of the company, may isip mo na, okay, better online na lang. So that's when in 2017, that's when we realized na, okay, this is the best way talaga for us is to go full online. And I think by that time, medyo sanay na kami. Kasi it's really hard to teach yourself to be disciplined. Kasi when you're working online talaga, the hardest part is the discipline. Kasi it's so easy na inaantok ako, matulog muna ako, or manood muna ako ng TV, or ganyan. So, punta muna ako grocery, o mag-shopping muna ako. So, very tempting yung mga ganong situations. No? And then we also realized that I also found out that I had some employees who were actually cheating. So, magta-time in siya, and then bigla na lang mawawala. So, I actually had one incident na, okay, so merong isang employee, naka-log in siya, tapos hindi sumasagot sa phone, and then after a while, tinawagan ko ulit yung phone. Ang sumagot ng phone yung kapatid niyang bata. And then so tinanong ko, asan yung kuya mo? Sabi niya, ay ma'am, nagbabasketball po.
Oh my God!
So na-realize ko na parang, yeah, so before that kasi, parang honesty system kami.
Yes.
Na, binabayaran kita for this time, magtrabaho ka naman. But I found out na that's not enough eh. So people will really slack. People will find ways na, okay lang naman kay boss yan kasi mabait naman siya, okay lang siya, ganyan-ganyan, konti naman yung trabaho. So that's when I realized na, well, obviously I fired that person. So soon after that, I kind of, nung binacktrack ko na marami palang mga situations na ganun siguro ginagawa niya. So I fired that person. And then we started looking for tools that will allow me or allow our people to monitor kung tatrabaho talaga o hindi yung tao. So we found out marami namang tools that you can buy online that you can monitor your employees. Meron yung parang ganito, nakikita mo lahat, nakikita mo sa screen, nakikita mo yung ginagawa ng employees. So we tried several software, but we ended up with TeamViewer. So eventually we realized that TeamViewer is the best for us, and hindi na namin ginagamit yung video na ganito. So what worked for us is yung TeamViewer na hindi ko alam ko this is the free version eh. Makikita mo lang yung screen nung staff mo. So makikita mo yung screen, so makikita mo kung gumagalaw, kung ano yung nasa screen niya. So doon mo makikita kung nag-work siya o hindi. So pag nakita namin yung screen mo hindi gumagalaw, so we asked, so separately, meron kaming chat, group chat. So sabi namin, let's say, Mirna, anong nangyayari? Ba't hindi gumagalaw yung screen mo? Sabi niya, I was on the phone with the customers, pero siya so okay, so noted, so nasa phone ka pala. So those are the things that eventually we find out work for us. Kasi hindi rin maganda na laging naka-on yung video kasi nagiging conscious yung employee eh. So we don't want naman them to be conscious. So sabi namin, sige, naka-off lang yung video. But what we have is yung, may feature kasi yung TeamViewer na ibibigay mo yung password sa amin and then we can check on you randomly. So the employee doesn't know kailan siya imo-monitor. So which is actually good eh. Kasi syempre kung hindi mo alam kung kailan ka imo-monitor ni boss, so ang tendency mo is to perform at any point in time. So eventually that was our that was our so yun yung naging final solution namin. So from 2017, 2018 up to now, that's how we do it, and I think it works. So even when we have new employees coming in, it's very easy for them to blend into the way we do work from home, and everything is okay. So we actually use Facebook to log in. So malalaman namin kung nakalagin ka na and I allow my employees pala na mag-post. Kasi yun nga, yung kung gusto mo talaga mag-basketball, okay lang magpaalam ka lang. Sabihin mo lang na, boss, kailangan ko mag-basketball eh. So, sige, magsabi ka lang na, pala, ito na. Kasi that's part of ako naman kasi that's part of the benefit of work from home eh. Kung kailangan mo mag-grocery in the middle of the work, the middle of the day, yes. Okay lang. Magsabi ka lang. So there's someone who can take over your work. So ganun, that worked for us. And as you mentioned kanina, Eunice, it's true na what worked for us may not necessarily work for others. So obviously to me kasi I'm lucky to have a place, a house that we can use for working. The space is okay, the internet is fast. Kaya ganun yung model namin. But I would understand that some people wouldn't have that space, no? And this model won't probably work for them. So yun. So that's how we do work from home. So nung time hindi pa usong work from home, we already started doing it. And to be honest talaga, it took us mga 2 to 3 years to find that model that was perfect for us. And especially for me, the reason I left the corporate world is I don't like traveling on the road anymore. Makati is too far from Quezon City. So yeah, so sabi ko, if it's not work from home, this is not worth it for me. So yun.
So just on a more practical
Okay. So
note
are there...
naman, we have a question here actually from our Lana. Even with the work from home arrangement, do you still go to out of town trips or do you have any activities for team building? And also, I think she also has a question related to current events. Do you think team building activities would still persist um, once after the coronavirus outbreak has sort of um, stabilized or normalized?
Mhm. Okay. Yung traveling, the answer there is yes. Given the nature of our business kasi, most of the bus companies kasi are, um, when we meet with them, I have to go to them. So this is an industry where emails or online is not uso. So in fact, I travel to the provinces a lot. If the head office of the bus company or the shipping company I'm talking to is in the province. So for our shipping partners, I go to Cebu a lot. Just before the coronavirus, I was in Tabaco, Albay kasi I was
Yes.
talking to a bus company there. I would go to Ilocos. So I'm actually traveling a lot.
Yes.
But one thing's nice is that because of our setup, sometimes my staff don't know that I'm actually out of town. Kasi lagi din naman akong online. So in fact, pagka nasa travel ako, mas makulit ako eh. Kasi syempre, sa airport ka, nag-aantay ka ng 2 oras. So what do you do? So you start checking on everyone. So
Yes.
yes, I still travel, but it's me mostly. So 90% of the travels and meetings, I do it. So most of my staff kasi are nasa working level sila.
Yes.
So the next question was, what was the second question again?
The next question
What was
was
the second question?
if team building activities would still persist after the
Yeah,
outbreak. Yes.
yeah. Me kasi personally, having come from big corporations where team building is sobrang
It,
uso.
yes, it's its own event.
So based on my corporate experience kasi it's it's a ako I feel it's too OA. So as a participant on yung mga team building na ganyan, I don't know, it's not for me. For me it doesn't work eh. Kasi as a participant, so syempre kami naman, may team building sa Boracay. Lahat kami happy. But you go there because the place is nice, you got free
Yes.
food, free hotels, but does it actually do something about the quality of work? Me personally, in my experience and my experiences sa mga colleague ko when I was in corporate is that it wasn't worth it eh. It wasn't worth spending millions of pesos. It wasn't worth, sacrificing the time of your people para lang mag-team building kayo sa labas. So, I think the way I run my company is you should hire people who will work with their heart and mind na hindi na kailangan ng team building. Diba? They're there for a purpose. They're there for a reason and they should work. I mean, you're paying them back kung kailangan i-convince pa yung employee to do their best when they're already paying their salaries. Diba? So, it sobrang OA, no? And when you actually look at companies abroad, hindi sila katulad ng mga Filipino companies na sobra tayong, masyado tayong mapuso. Oo, masyado tayong mapuso. In other countries is that, I'm paying you for this job, do your job, and do it well. Ganon. As long as you treat your employees well, I don't think team building is necessary. To me, I treat my employees well on a daily basis, on an hourly basis. I give my respect to them. I treat them well. I make sure they're happy with what they're doing. Kaya hindi na kailangan ng team building. But we do go out for, like kung may birthday, ganyan, pag may birthday, tinitreat ko sila for lunch. So yung lunch namin yung effectively nagiging team building.
Yes.
So, and I also hire people which believe in the same thing, no? Na parang, we're paying you for this job. You do your best. That's the basic requirement. So the answer there is I don't believe in team building, and I think as long as you have the right people you don't need team building just to, to get the best out of them. Okay, what's the next question pa?
Yes, a little bit more on that point lang din siguro. We have a couple of questions on how do you measure productivity, and then also KPIs as well to measure their performance, given that you're primarily on a work from home setup. So those questions are from Maria and then also from Kenneth. So medyo pinag-isa ko na lang, but generally the question is, how do you measure productivity, and do you set KPIs, and if so, how do you measure these KPIs?
Yeah, my approach is very practical. I don't go through a formal KPI measurements, no. Okay, I have I have three major functions in the company. One is customer service. So ang KPI ko lang is emails should be responded to within an hour from the time it was sent. As long as within, kasi meron kaming parang customer service hours that it's open. So basta within that time, email should be opened. We should be responded to within 1 hour. Messages sent through our Facebook page should be responded to the same thing within an hour. There should be no complaints. Kasi nalalaman ko kasi kung hindi maganda yung performance ng customer services, some customers actually go straight to me. So I guess they find me on Facebook, and then they will, may mga magko-complain na customers, o yung customer service mo hindi ako sinasagot o mali yung sinasabi niya. So ganun lang. As long as the customers are quiet, it means my customer service is performing well. Okay. And then from time to time, I go into the emails and check kung may mga nagko-complain. At night, my customer service kasi I think is during weekdays, we're up to 10 p.m. So pagdating ng 11, 12 p.m., ako na yung sumasagot. So nakikita ko yung mga responses nila, kung tama yung mga responses nila. Occasionally, I do customer service work. So doon ko malalaman na, doon ko nahuhuli na yung customer na, ma'am, tumawag na ako last week pero ganito yung sinabi sa akin, bakit mali o bakit iba. So yun. Yung sa akin, and then my second function is customer support. So these are the people who make sure that the schedules are always updated, the refund, the rebooking and refund reports are being done properly. So it's the same thing. If customers end up booking trips that are not updated naman pala, so ibig sabihin there's something wrong with my customer support, with my yung sa support team. So ganun pa rin. So I think the key there is I dig deep. I go down to their level on a regular basis. So nakikita ko talaga. I don't depend on reports. I really go down to their level. Sometimes I check the schedules, I check the system, pinapasok ko yung mga emails, I talk to customers, and that's how I get a sense if someone is not doing their job or not. And then of course, yung sa finance side ko naman, so I make sure na our obligations are paid on time, and our obligations are paid correctly. Kasi syempre, ayoko naman nag-overpay, ayoko naman na nagde-delay yung mga payments ko. So ganun. It's actually very simple, no? Again, because we're small, so I think I can do this. But I'm sure that over time when we get bigger, I may not be able to do this on a regular basis. But because I think it's fun. I like it when actually one of the things I love about my job is yung pag nagko-customer service ako. So I like talking to customers. I like getting feedback. So that's basically my KPI. No, it's not a formal KPI. I just make sure that I go down to the level, and it's the customers who will tell me if everything is okay.
Katrina wants a bit of background lang on PinoyTravel. primarily, how many people do you work with currently?
Okay. So Pinoy Travel kasi we're the online booking for buses and yeah, provincial buses and shipping. So yung shipping namin, it's not just passenger shipping but even cargo. So kung magro-roro ka from, let's say, from Calapan to Batangas, so
Yes.
you can book through us in advance. Right now, I have one, two, three. I have three. No, I have two customer service. So ini-schedule namin sila from Monday to Sunday. So may times na nag-overlap sila. And then I have a support team. There's 3 people on the support team. So these are the people who are in charge of the system. And then I have one person who is handling HR and finance. Pero yung R&D namin, we have a dev. Because Pinoy Travel now is partly owned by a company called Circuit Solutions Inc. So meron silang software development team. So they do all the software support and development for us. So it's a team of 4 people, 50% dedicated to us.
Yes.
And then I have how many people? So I have 6 people who are full-time sa team. And then I have 2 who are contractual, who is on call. And then ito nga yung dev support namin, which is I think 3 or 4 people, 50% of their time is spent on us.
Yes.
Yung mga part-time namin, kasi the thing with our business kasi is during peak season, ang dami-daming work. So ito na yung mga Holy Week, Pasko, Undas.
Yes.
So kailangan namin ng extra people doing customer service and support. So we have 2 people who is always on standby. And then sila yung binibigyan namin ng trabaho. So yeah. So there's not a lot of us, and I want to keep it small kasi there are advantages to being small. Even dun sa I think even sa Dole, I mean, since kung mga founders kayo, you should look at the policies on if you are less than 10 people in a company, there are certain rules that does not apply to you. So there are advantages in keeping your team small kasi marami kayong mga exemptions pagdating sa mga taxes and some government regulations. So ask na lang your accountant how that works.
And then another question, also related, I guess, to team, which we touched on a bit earlier, na how do you keep the team motivated where they work from home? I guess, given, for example, when you have peak seasons na medyo busy, so medyo the stress is up, and may mga targets na hinahabol. So, but I think Kenneth asked this in the context of people being lax when they're at home, and there are potentially a lot of distractions.
Yeah. Actually, sa akin, yung biggest attraction ko is the work from home itself. So, sabi nga ng mga employees ko kasi when we had this investor come in, ay nawala. Eunice, you're still there?
Yes, I'm still here. I'll just message someone lang kasi I think they shared their screen.
Okay. May nag-share ng screen. Okay. May nag-show it. Anyway, yeah. So in fact, my biggest attraction sa mga employees is the work from home itself. Kasi one of the employees nga used to work for Fustans. So it's a big company, malaki yung sweldo niya. Pero sabi niya sa akin, net, she's now saving more money. She's actually ended up saving more money. She's working for Pinoy Travel than when she was with Fustans. Kasi nga, she lives in Cainta. Yung office niya noon sa Rustan was in Makati. So yung pamasahin niya, yung pagkain niya, And apparently, yun nga yung damit, kasi they need to make sure also na yung malaking issue pala yun, ano. Ako, I took it for granted before na parang yung mga female employees, they spend a big portion of their salary buying clothes. Diba?
Yes.
So it was something that I didn't realize until he told me na, sabi niya, Ma'am, ayan, so wala na akong pamasahe, hindi ako kumakain sa labas, hindi na ako bumibili ng damit. So effectively, mas marami ang earnings niya now working for PinoyTravel than when she was working for a big company. And then, sabi pa rin ng iba, kasi when this investor came in, gusto ng investor kasi mag-collocate kami sa kanila in their office in Ortigas. So I was contemplating na nga before on, okay, I think we may have to change the way we work. We may have to work finally in Ortigas. And then all of my employees said, Ma'am, kung mag-office na tayo sa Ortigas, magre-resign kaming lahat. So sabi ko, okay, so that's a big problem now.
Yes.
So yun, so buti na lang na-convince ko rin yung investor namin na can you just let us work, continue to work from home na lang. But we will come to your office and we meet in your office once a week. So that was the compromise. No? So eventually everyone realized the financial advantage of working from home. Me, I'm a cancer survivor kasi. So to me, the food I eat, I'm very particular about the food I eat. So kung nag-office ako sa labas, which is what I used to do, you can't really afford to eat healthy food in a good restaurant on a daily basis. So working from home allows me to eat the food that I want at a very low price. So in fact, today, ang salary ko sa PinoyTravel is a small percentage of what I used to make working for the big telco. And yet I'm happier now. I'm healthier, so less stress. So I think it's not just for the employees but even for myself. No? Kasi if this is something that I don't want to do anymore, then I'll probably just close the company. No, but this is something that I enjoy doing, and it's good for me also.
And we have a question from TJ that's also connected with your earlier discussion natin. He said, in the previous example, some people get motivated because of their salary. How would you handle things if, for example, you were starting PinoyTravel now, and you have that work from home arrangement? You don't have any revenue yet, and you don't have any money to provide a salary for everyone, say for you or for your co-founders.
We didn't have enough money before to pay for employees. We were actually doing the work ourselves. So I did have my salary until 2016 or 2017. That's when I started getting lang my salary. So I imagine I've been working for 3 years without getting anything. Pero nakalista. So sabi ko lang, sige, I want cash in muna. So ilista lang muna. And then now that the company is making money, so yung past salaries ko is slowly being paid for. Sorry, what was the question again? How do I motivate? Okay, so if you don't have a lot of money, how do you motivate your employees to actually work for you? There are people actually who don't mind working for a lower salary if they like doing the job. So obviously I can't hire a person who just graduated from Stanford or just graduated from Ateneo, from UP, LaSalle. So yung mga ganon, they wouldn't want to work for me. So I will not even waste my time talking to them or convincing them to work for me. So I actually look for people who wouldn't mind working for a lower salary but would love to do the job. So akala ko before that those people don't exist. Apparently, ang dami nila. one of the first few employees that I hired our very first employee actually was someone who was referred by one of our bus company partner, no? So, yung kapatid niya, they're from Bulacan. Yung kapatid niya graduated from a college in Bulacan. And she couldn't find a job for the past 2 or 3 years. So 3 years na siyang graduate from college. Hindi siya makakuha ng trabaho because number one, she's very small, she's very frail. So kung ikaw talaga yung employer din, she's not the person you would want to hire. She's been jobless for so long. So she will not qualify for a typical position, typical job, kahit na entry level siya. But we took a chance kasi no choice, na-refer nung partner eh. So when we hired her, I realized na this person kasi was so grateful that we hired her na talagang yung willingness niya to learn, yung willingness niya to do what we tell her to do was so great. It was just in a matter of six months, she was the perfect employee. No? So she learned, hindi patigas ang ulo, mabait, masipag. So, and it was actually nice kasi after a year working for PinoyTravel, she was able to apply in a bigger company and she was accepted and mas malaki na yung sweldo niya and she was actually very grateful for the break that we gave to her. So I'm actually very happy. I was very happy to let her go at that time kasi I know it was a bigger paying job. And it paved the way for her to create a career in the call center industry. So that was one. And then from there, so nakita ko na yung the kind of people that maybe I should be hiring. And recently, yung customer service ko, I have 2 customer service. They're both mothers. No? Yung isa, well, ito pa yung isang hinahanap ko. No? I'm looking for women, ideally mother na medyo may kaya pero bored sa buhay. So a person who is kind of well off and just looking for something to do, yun, kahit na magkano ibayad ko sa kanya, she wouldn't mind as long as she's happy with her job and as long as it's work from home. And then, so yun. And then the other customer service that I have, she recently retired from her job. So I think she's 56 or 57 years old. Her kids are grown up. She's all alone in the house. Wala siyang ginagawa. So, and ayaw na rin niyang magtrabaho sa Makati. And of course, hindi na rin at her age and her background, hindi na rin siya makahanap ng ibang trabaho. And yet, she is the perfect customer service person. She's very compassionate. And because she's mature, she's older, the way she deals with the customer is iba eh, di ba? Doon ko nakita eh, na when a younger person, pag customer service is a younger person, parang for her, ito, may problema ka in your trip, ito yung standard answer namin, yung ganyan. Pero itong customer service ko, he's more compassionate because she's older. She even goes beyond what we normally do as customer service. Sabi niya, sabihin niya, okay, so it's your first time to be in Palawan. Kasi there was one time we assisted this young girl from Malaysia. Yes. She's traveling on her own. She's alone. She's 20, I think she's 23 or 24 years old. And she was going to El Nido all by herself. And it was her first time to travel. So, me without knowing that, customer service ko pala para even help her beyond what she booked in PinoyTravel. So, tulungan siya, this is what you should do. You should keep yourself safe. Ito yung number ko, tawagan mo ko if you're ready. So yung ganon, and that actually wins the heart of customers and it's actually good for business, no, pagka ganon yung mga tao namin. So yung ganon, no. So look for those people, no, who would do the job for you at the price that you can afford. It's there, no. Hahanapin mo lang talaga. Yes. It took me a while then to realize that was my winning formula. So, but eventually, I found it. So, in fact, puro pala kami babae. I only have one guy team. So, most of us are women. I don't know kung
Maybe that will
hindi naman siya
change.
intentional. Nagkataon lang talaga na it's women. Yeah, it's the women who like staying home, doing the work, more compassionate, I guess. So ganon. So I guess it exists, no. So don't be don't be parang wag kayong ang tawag doon you don't need an employee coming from the top schools in the Philippines, no. So where my kids are, I have my first daughter is in UP, my second daughter is Ateneo, but they're not the kind of people I would want to work for me. So it's you have to go look for those people, and do not ignore people who have retired from their jobs, no? Kasi people who have retired from their jobs are people who are rich in experience and compassion, and these are people who probably wouldn't mind receiving lesser salary. Baka mamaya mag-abono pa siya pa magbigay ng pera sa'yo if you need it. But they just need a chance. They just need something to do with their time, no? So for our audience, no, who are young and looking for people to hire, look at these people, yung mga nagre-retire from their jobs. Kasi yung mga yan, parang they don't care kung may bayad sila o wala eh. Gusto lang nila meron silang ginagawa sa buhay nila and contribute.
Yun.
Okay,
So,
what else?
Going to the more practical stuff, you mentioned in Viewer, I think, earlier. So, what tools are you currently using to sort of manage your work from home arrangement?
We use Facebook a lot. Yung what we do sa Facebook, marami kaming mga Facebook groups. So meron kaming group na pang time in, time out. Meron kaming group for each partner. So let's say, meron kaming Facebook group for Genesis. Meron kaming isang Facebook group for 5-star. So lahat ng mga information doon namin dinadump sa bawat group na yon. So yun yung nagiging filing cabinet namin. So kaya nga kung merong issue with, for example, 5-star, so pupunta ka lang dun sa group. So makikita mo na yung history niya. Who said what, and ano yung mga issues na yun, how it was solved. It's not the ideal situation, no? So people are saying, why are you using Facebook? It's not safe, it's not ganyan-ganyan. But one thing I like kasi about Facebook is that when you have a new employee, they all know how to use it. Wala nang training. Everyone knows how to navigate Facebook. Everyone knows how to use it. And in terms of security, I don't well, syempre, yung mga super information that we need to really secure, it's not there. Meron pa rin akong physical cabinet dito for those files. But basically, all the information is there. So we use Facebook a lot, Facebook groups. And even yung mga customers kasi namin, they actually send more messages dun sa Facebook page namin than email. So there. And then we also use Viber group. So marami kaming mga Viber group. So in fact, meron kaming Viber group per partner. Kasi even yung mga bus company partner namin, gusto nila naka-Viber din. So lahat ng mga issues doon nire-resolve sa mga group chats na yon. Yes, Messenger. Meron din kaming mga Messenger. Kasi Facebook Messenger kasi libre, di ba? So kahit na hindi bumili ng data yung mga employees ng mga bus company partners namin, meron silang Facebook Messenger. So we use that a lot. And then Skype, we also use Skype. And then TeamViewer, we also use TeamViewer in monitoring everyone. So yun. So TeamViewer. And then of course, text messages meron pa rin naman. So ang nangyayari lang talaga is dapat marunong ka na yung message, text pero sinagot ka sa Viber, tapos follow up sa Messenger. So kailangan lang talaga sanay ka lang na, parang yung responses are happening in different mediums. Dapat lang masundan. So we use that. So these are the things that we use, no? And all of them are free. No? So I haven't been paying for any software, for any tools that we actually use. So yun.
So it's a good, I guess that's also a good tip for any of the founders who are online, no? Like, don't be afraid to maximize free tools para it also
Yes,
minimizes
there's
your
a lot.
working.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah. Well, people have been telling me nga before yung Slack daw. Use Slack. I actually use Slack. Pero yung mga tao ko, hindi nila, ayaw nilang gamitin, kasi may mga tao rin gano'n, di ba? Ayaw nilang matuto.
Yes.
Sabi, why are we gonna use Slack? Okay naman tayo sa Facebook. Okay naman tayo sa Viber. Why ganyan? Sabi ko, sige. So let's stick. So I tend to stick to something that everyone is very comfortable with, di ba? So, even yung Facebook nga, alam ko merong paid version ng Facebook for business eh. So,
Yes.
well, yun, hindi na rin namin pinatulak kasi okay naman kami doon sa libre, so why pay? Diba?
I guess yun, just to recap for the folks who might be new, don't be afraid to experiment with the free stuff. Check with your employees on which tools they're more comfortable with. And yes, number 3, to that point, hindi naman kailangan makisabay sa ginagamit ng corporates or even the more advanced startup just because it's the popular thing to do. Like for us, for example, it took us a while then to actually shift to using Slack. We also used to parang be more active on Messenger. But I think the reason why we shifted was it got to the point naman na Slack became the tool that made more sense to us. So yun, always do a sense check, I guess, which tools would work, not just in terms of parang, is it accessible, but also is it something that your teammates or your colleagues or your co-founders would actually use. So, yun. And then,
yun. So, kayo magpa-pressure, no?
Oo. Wag po tayo magpa-peer pressure sa mga tools. And then,
and Zoom,
in terms of finances nga pala,
Zoom is starting.
Yes, Zoom is becoming, I think, just parang I wouldn't even characterize it as a live streaming or meeting tool. Parang siya yung bagong social media network ng mga tao. Kasi
I think Zoom, they say, is more bandwidth efficient. Eh. So, yeah. So, importante rin siguro yung bandwidth. You know, one thing I want to share pa pala, kasi yun, I made sure lang, since we work from home, I make sure that everyone has the proper tools. No, may mabilis yung internet sa bahay, may laptop, may desktop, may cellphone. Okay, so yung isang problema mo pala when you work from home is asset management, diba? Yes. So how do you make sure that the company assets are being used properly, is being taken care of properly? So at the beginning, what I did was, of course, I would buy laptops, desktops, printers, and cell phones for everyone. And then I realized na, of course, I can't afford naman to buy the best laptop or the best desktop. But my people would like, sabi nila, ay ma'am, ayokong gamitin yan kasi pangit ang binili mong laptop eh. Isa naman, sabi niya, ma'am, Mac user ako eh. So, ayokong gamitin yung binigay mong laptop. And then I found out na bumibili ako ng laptop but they don't use it. They end up using their own personal laptop. So what I shifted to, and para ma-manage ko rin yung asset ko, is I stopped buying laptops for everyone. What I did was, part of my hiring requirement is dapat yung sa bahay mo meron kang mabilis sa internet. I pay for half of the internet payments. So pakita mo yung bill sa akin. So pag nakita mo, let's say if you're paying 1,500 a month for internet, I actually pay for half of the internet you use at home. And then for their laptop, I give them a laptop or desktop allowance. So on top of their salary, I pay them, I think, 400 pesos a month for them. Parang nililis ko yung laptop nila. And then I pay them extra, I think I pay them 400 or 300 a month for the use of their cell phone. So, ang nangyayari sa amin, on top of your salary, I pay you something like 1,500 or 2,000 a month for all the tools that you use. So, nung una akala ko the employees wouldn't be happy about it, but actually happy sila eh. Kasi whether I give them a laptop or not, they have their own naman.
Yeah.
Diba? Which they prefer using. So, and then they welcome pa the extra allowance that I pay them for using those tools. So yun yung isang shift na ginawa ko. Kasi nga, I was buying laptops na not within their standard. So sabi ko, sige, I'll pay na lang for your laptop. And everyone's happy. I was happy din kasi wala na akong minamanage na asset.
Yes, that's true.
So yun. Yeah.
And then in terms of, I guess, activities like finance or admin, which most people still see or experience as parang paper-based mostly. How do you manage that now?
I have an external accountant. So on top of my employees, no. So I actually have an external accountant who does all the government, kasi may mga monthly requirements yan, di ba? May mga filings sa SEC, sa BIR on a monthly basis. So I have an external accountant for that, which we pay 6,000, keeping an employee. But I do have one person who's in charge of finance and HR. What we do lang is, we monitor. We do payroll, who does payroll, and we monitor our payments and revenues. So that's how I manage. And of course, me, being the CEO and the founder, I make sure that I understand how the finance side is going, kasi that's really important. Kasi lalo na yung mga small companies, normally dyan sila nadadali na the founder doesn't know, wala na pala siyang pera, or nami-mismanage pala yung pera niya, or
Yes.
nanakaw pala yung pera niya. So it's one of the things that I learned very early on, na I make sure I understand the finance side in a very detailed basis. So it's not really that complicated, but the key lang talaga dito is hire an external accountant, kasi it's too complicated. Yung mga monthly SSS, BIR, yung mga ganung filings, it's very complicated. Pass it on to someone who knows how to do it. It's not very expensive. They're not very expensive. So I can focus my time talaga in running the company and increasing the revenues. So I would admit I don't understand all the requirements, but I trust my my external accountant to be doing the right thing.
And then a question from Katrina, I think related as well to finance and admin matters. Have you ever had issues on government regulations regarding hiring people who work remotely?
No. In fact, wala namang if you look at DOLE, wala naman silang wala namang ruling that says we cannot. It's actually walang regulatory issues, even way back when we started, wala naman. So which is actually good, Well, luckily for people now who would want to do work from home even after this corona issues, I think they will be more. They'll be support. The government will probably be more supportive. But me, even before this corona issue, I've been telling everyone that if you want to, one way to help talaga the traffic, to decongest traffic in Metro Manila is work from home, diba? Kasi it's actually more efficient. People just don't believe it. It's very efficient kasi. So then when I used to go to work to the office, ayaw nyo lang i-admit, but at least 30% of the employee is actually wasted time. Yung mga kwentuhan sa office, chit-chat sa office, yung extended lunchtime, late papasok, maaga uwi. it's 30% of what you pay those employees is actually wasted. So, kasi ang napansin ko sa online, everything is straightforward. Hindi ka pwedeng mag-chit-chat sa group, sa group, sa mga group chat. So, napansin ko, yung mga group chat namin, everything is direct to the point. Oh, bakit hindi mo ito sinubmit kahapon? Ma'am, kasi ganito, ganyan, ganyan, ganyan. Tapos, in 1 or 2 sentences, tapos, samantalang sa office, magmi-meeting tayo para pag-usapan itong ganito. Bakit ganito yung nangyayari? Bakit ganon? Diba? You end up wasting 3 hours, 2 hours of people's time para pag-usapan yung isang issue. So when you work from home, you learn to be direct to the point. Direct question, direct answer. So, ayun. And then, people are less emotional, I guess. So, parang, and ako din, I find it easier actually to reprimand people online. Kasi nga, since hindi face-to-face, hindi person-to-person, so parang siguro less hurtful pagka nire-reprimand ka. And well, yung lang dun is careful din ako kung ano yung tinatype ko kasi, I make sure I don't type something that might be used against me in the future. So that's one. But the other advantage lang nun is that eventually the employee will hahanapin niya sa history, ano na nga yung sinabi ni Ma'am, bakit nga ba ako pinagalitan ni Ma'am before? And doon yung makikita yung history na, okay. So ito pala yung mali ko, so I want to make sure hindi ko maulit. So even yung disciplinary portion, I think it's easier, the way we do it online. So yun nga lang, I want to make sure din na yung mga sinasabi ko will not be, cannot be used against me, assuming na lumaki yung issue. Okay, what else?
And then we also have a couple of questions, I think more focused on the industry in terms of the industry that you're working with, which is travel and tourism. So someone asked, Arlana asked, how the coronavirus crisis would affect market demand for travel, and do you think it's something that would affect the way people travel?
Oh yeah, okay. 0 revenues kami since March 15, no? And then which is really sad kasi Holy Week is our biggest it's the biggest market for the travel industry. And yet I think by pagdating ng Holy Week, which is first week of April, I think it's gonna be 0 revenues for everyone. Well, kumikita na lang kami sa mga refunds. Ngayon kasi mga rebooking and refunds, we charge for that. So kahit papano, wala mang booking, meron naman kami mga admin fees na nakukuha. I think, kasi syempre I'm also talking to other people in the same industry. We feel now, once this coronavirus is over, people would probably want to travel more kasi alam mo yon, yung nasuppress yung kanilang travel wishes this time, and then all of a sudden I'm sure that there will be, alam mo yung pent up desire to actually travel. So I think it's gonna come back, and what I'm actually looking forward to is that people would probably want to do more domestic travel than international. And which is actually good for us kasi we're purely domestic travel. We do have foreign travelers using our service also, but that's like 5 to 10% lang of our volume. So what I'm really looking forward to is more domestic travel. And in fact, I think right now people are more conscious about environmental issues. You actually contribute, you actually parang it helps lessen the ozone, yung mga pollution issues when you take public transportation than taking your car when you go to Baler. I think people will be using public transportation more. So I also foresee that people now will realize the advantages of working from home. So when people work from home, they will have more excess money. So excess spending. So they will probably have more money to spend for travels, more meaningful travels domestically. So I'm very I'm optimistic about how domestic travel will be after this coronavirus issue. So unfortunately lang, yeah, so we may have to hold on for probably 3 to as much as 4 months before things start picking up again. Fortunately lang, we're able to manage our finances well. So I think I can pay my employees even for the next 4 or 6 months. So we have enough naman. So yun. So yeah, another advantage of working from home is that wala akong rental na binabayaran. Kasi I think for some people now na, if you're renting an office before the coronavirus, so syempre, now even if you're not using it during this time, I think some of you may still have to pay your rent. No? So,
unless
itong
the
advantage
landlords
sa amin
waive
is
it.
that zero revenue, but yes, of course. So, but for the landlord naman, sabihin ng landlord, how, may mga binabayaran din siyang staff, security, and all that, so it's also very hard for everyone. So, yun yung isang advantage namin, we've been doing this for a long time. With this, nangyayari with the situation ngayon, in terms of cost, walang impact sa akin in terms of cost. No? So, wala man akong revenues, wala rin naman akong cost. So, ang pinaka-cost ko na lang ngayon are the salaries of my staff. And this is now a good time for us to do some, yung mga system changes, system maintenance, since it's not being used right now. So now is a good time to really bring down the system and do some maintenance work. Okay, what else?
And then Jamie Diego had also an industry-related question, which is how do you change the mindset of Filipino travelers to appreciate the significance of travel apps? Because there are people who still think it's easier or cheaper to do it on your own than to say use an app or have a travel agent. So how has that parang behavior shift been like for you and PinoyTravel?
Well, I have to admit that at the end of the day, we are not for everyone. Kasi we don't get commission. Well, almost all of the bus companies, they don't actually give us commission from the fare. So our income comes from the add-on fees that we charge the customer for booking online. Yes, it is more expensive to buy from us than you going to the bus terminal and buy tickets. No? So at the end of the day, I'm sure, kasi we only charge 35 pesos, but you also have to pay for the payment gateway fees and all of that. So yung add-on fees talaga can be painful then for some people. And I would admit na it's not for everyone. So there will always be people na, yung 35 pesos or total 50 pesos on top of na charge, it's big enough for them. So yun, hindi ko na tina-target yon. So doon na lang po kayo bumili sa bus terminal. Okay lang po sa akin yon. But what I tell people lang is that there are advantages of booking online, which is number one. Kasi when you go to the terminal, you don't know kung pagdating mo doon may seats pa pala o wala. Kasi the worst thing is, pumunta ka doon, you spend time, namasahe ka papunta doon, only to find out na sa online pa lang fully booked na. Yeah, so in fact, maraming yung nagagalit ng mga pasahero na parang, ano ba yan? Puro na lang online. So, paano naman kaming mga mahihirap pupunta sa terminal? Pagdating dito, wala na kaming makuhang seats. So, actually, yun yung issue namin today. Maraming complaints na anti-mahihirap daw kami, anti-poor. So, sabi ko, okay, wala. Yun ang isang pinag-iisipan namin. How do we actually do that? Some bus companies, what they do is, nagre-reserve sila na, ito pang online, ito para sa walk-in. Kasi nga naman talaga, may mga tao talagang who cannot afford to pay the additional we charge. So that's one. We didn't need to do a lot of convincing. Only at the beginning, talaga. So we were trying to convince people to book, but eventually, people realized the advantage of booking online. So, pero yung biggest selling point doon is that, yun nga, kung hindi ka mag-book online, mafu-fully book ka talaga. wala ka nang makukuhang seat kasi sa online pa lang puno na. So, which was actually good kasi nga yung mga tao nag-uunahan na online. So, no choice sila, but to pay for the fees that we're charging kasi talagang sa online pa lang puno na. So, in fact, yung Holy Week, for some of our routes, yung Holy Week was already fully booked eh. Kaya ang dami namin nire-refund ngayon kasi ang dami yung hundreds of bookings ang nagawa namin.
Can you imagine?
And we need to refund everyone now. So yun, so it didn't need a lot of convincing, no, for some of the routes, no. So okay lang siya, no problem. Okay, ano pa?
And then how did you
I think
manage?
someone's asking about when do we okay. So, yeah, someone asked, which meetings are just on email, in person,
yes.
or con-call meeting?
Yes.
So, yeah. So, when do I decide if I need to meet in person? Pagka yung issues is, like, halimbawa, itong nangyayari, no, sa coronavirus, before, I actually met them in person before before the lockout happens. Because, syempre, everyone was concerned na paano na yan, may sweldo pa ba kami, ano pa bang gagawin natin. So during this time, paano pag umabot to ng 3 months, ano gagawin natin. So we met in person before nagkaroon ng lockdown. And I had to explain to them what's gonna happen. So in short, pagka may mga issues that I think will have a lot of parang back and forth Q&A. So marami silang tanong, ako rin may mga tanong. So we meet in person na lang. So there. Pero kung yung mga small issues lang naman like, anong gagawin natin dun sa mga customers na nagde-demand ng full refund. O yung mga ganon, sa chat pa lang sinasabi ko na. Sa chat pa lang na-address na namin. So yun. So emails, we don't do group emails anymore. So hindi siya efficient. So, mas nakikita ko mas efficient is either we do face-to-face, we do chat, or we do yung mga conference call na ganito. So yun. Okay, ano pa? Next question.
And then, another question from Kenneth. How did you popularize your service? Any advertising strategies, especially for when you are just starting out?
When we were starting,
yes,
the advertising strategy.
Yes.
For us, kasi we did a lot of things in the past, and eventually, what I realized works for us is number one, Facebook advertising works very well. Kasi nata-target ko per area. So let's say when we opened up a route within the Visayas, so ang tina-target ko lang ay yung mga located sa Visayas. So I like Facebook advertising kasi it can be very targeted in terms of location. And then another thing that worked for us, traditional advertising kind of worked for us. Ito yung mga tarp sa bus terminal. Ito yung minsan may mga booths kami nilalagay doon just to teach people how to book online. So for us, it's a combination of Facebook advertising and traditional advertising at the bus terminals. Kasi one time kasi what we're trying to convince are those people who are not booking online. So we want to show them there na, sir, madali po mag-book online para next time, susunod na trip niyo, mag-book na lang kayo, mas mabilis. So we use stars and we go there and teach people how to book online. So yun yung effective sa amin na advertising. Okay, what else?
I think for us naman, I guess my next question would be, like, how do you balance work and life in a work from home arrangement? Kasi you mentioned earlier yung mga nag-basketball, nag-grocery. Paano mo babalansin yun so that parang you or your employees are not getting burnt out? Given na I think there are some people, especially siguro for the extroverts. Hello, kung maraming extroverts in the call, if parang the lack of variety in terms of the work environment becomes a concern or becomes something na they'd want to see more of? Like, how do you manage that?
Actually, ako, as long as you can manage working while you are abroad or while you are on vacation, it's okay. No, it's actually better. No, well, since my kids go to school, my husband has work, so we can't really travel that often din naman. But whenever we do, I let my family dictate how much time we will spend abroad. At ako yung mag-adjust. And it's okay. Kasi like yung last vacation namin was we spent Christmas in Seoul, Korea. So we were there for like 2 weeks. So people here in the Philippines don't even know that I was actually out of the country. So as long as meron akong internet connection, I have my laptop, I have my phone, kahit nasa train ako, kahit nasa restaurant ako, I'm able to respond to people. So so in short, as far as I'm concerned, it actually allows me to go anywhere, anytime I want. No? Ang rule lang doon is that I should be reachable. I should be able to respond to issues. Pag may issues yung mga partners ko, yung mga bus company partners ko, I should be able to call them. They should be able to call me. May Viber naman, so kahit di ko na kailangan ng roaming. So it allows me, it allows me to actually travel more. It allows me to enjoy my life more, while still working full time. Yun lang, me where being the head of being the CEO of my company. Wala akong weekends, wala akong vacation, yung vacation talaga. Basta ako, Monday to Sunday, from when I wake up at around 10 a.m., I sleep at 2 a.m. The whole time yan, I'm reachable. I can respond to anything. Nasa grocery ako, pwede akong, nag-grocery ako, may kausap ako sa telepono, may sinasagot akong messages. So it allows me to actually be in different places anytime and still able to work. For my staff naman, I actually make it very easy for them. Like, magpaalam ka lang. Like, one time, yung isang customer service ko, sabi niya, "Ma'am, kailangan kong pumunta sa farm namin. I need to spend 3 days there. Tapos walang signal, ganyan-ganyan." So sabi ko, sige, it's okay. As long as, wala kang sweldo for these 3 days kasi ubus mo na yung leave mo. So as long as there's another person who can take over the task, you can actually go anytime. Hindi ko nililimit yung staff ko. Kailangan mo mag-travel sa Japan ng 2 weeks. Fine, you can go. Pero syempre, make sure lang na may mag-take over dun sa task mo and that person is willing to do your task. So I make them responsible in convincing my other employees na sila yung mag-take over itong task nila. Which is actually okay. Ang number one rule ko lang is that wherever you are in this world, dapat reachable ka. Kasi kung let's say biglang nagkaroon ng issue na ikaw lang nakakaalam, dapat matatawagan ka namin and you should reply right away. So that's another advantage then. That's why people like working for PinoyTravel is that hindi sila limited dun sa number of leaves that they are entitled to. As you can go anywhere you want. Yun lang, during peak season lang na wag lang sasabayan na yung peak season doon ka rin magbabakasyon. So, magbabakasyon ka after or before the peak season. Which actually works. Kasi, why would you want to be in Baguio during the Holy Week when everyone is there? Diba? So, na-convince ko rin naman yung mga staff ko na magbakasyon ka na before or after. So, buti naman. Kasi yung before and after, yun naman yung time na we don't have a lot of work. Sabi ko, sige, magbakasyon kayo. So, it's the balance is there, no? So, the balance is there for everyone. Kasi, I don't limit them dun sa number of leaves allowed to them. You can go, half the year if you want, as long as there's someone who can take over your work and as long as reachable ka. So I even had an incident one time na one of my employees had to be in Ilocos for 2 months. Sabi ko, fine, as long as merong internet where you will be staying in Ilocos. So yun, parang, nasa Ilocos siya as if, nothing happened. Kasi as long as meron siyang internet access. So that's a nice thing about, it's not actually working from home. It's working remotely. It doesn't have to be your home. You can be at the beach. You can be anywhere. So as long as there's internet, so it's actually good. I think it's gonna be you'll end up with happier employees if you allow them to work wherever they are. Yes. And I think that's the future.
Yes, agree. 100%. And then I have question. Yes, kasi I think nag-align na yung like the kind of work that people are doing in parang like the infrastructure and the conditions. It's definitely an easier arrangement, I think, for a lot of people. So following that, Katrina has a question regarding where you usually look for potential candidates that might work for your company. Do you find them at events or via LinkedIn? How do you find recruit?
I go for referrals. Yeah, I actually go for referrals. Kasi I also want to make sure, kasi nga since work from home kami, I want to make sure that yung relationships among the employees is there. What I normally go for is I ask the employees to refer if they have a friend, if they have a relative, ganyan. Kasi I want to make sure na I don't bring in someone that other people can't work with. So everyone I hired ended up being referrals of the other employees. So far it has worked for me, no. So that's one. And then another thing is well, this is kind of intentional, no. Ako, I live in Quezon City, but yung mga staff ko, all of them are in one area in Cainta and in Pasig. So sila magkakalapit yung bahay nila. So actually yung mga face-to-face meetings pala, there are face-to-face meetings na sila na lang na hindi na ako kasama. So sabi ko, sige, kung may mga issues kayong gusto yung pag-usapan ng face-to-face, why don't you go find a coffee shop somewhere, mag-meeting kayo on your own and then discuss the issues. And since magkakalapit sila ng bahay, so it's easier for everyone. So yes, so I'm not gonna hire someone who's from Alabang for practical reasons. I'm not gonna hire someone who's from Fairview. So I ended up, trying to na-limit ko yung hiring people if you okay lang, nawala sa akin. Okay.
Ayan. It's back.
Ayan, okay na. Okay. Sorry. Okay.
Then,
so yes. What else?
Another question is it difficult to assess the performance of each employee in a remote work setting? How can an employee be promoted with remote work? With a remote work arrangement?
It's all about performance, no. Well, kasi kami flat organization kami, so everyone is so there's only 3 layers. So me, and then I have the head of operations, and then the staff na. So yun lang yung layer namin. Of course, they're not all paid the same amount. So what I do is although same level sila, same position sila, but their salaries vary. So what I do is those who have been with the company longer, so I gave them appropriate increases because they've been with the company longer and their responsibilities are more mas malawak na yung responsibilities nila. So ganun lang. And also I guess because of the nature of our job and well since we're small, we're not, people are not very particular about, oy, dapat yung position ko mas mataas na o dapat ganito yung level ko. What they're more particular with is that yung salary ko. So, kailan mo ko i-increasean, ganyan. So, and then another advantage pala, since we're small, and since we're work from home, especially during peak season, almost all my employees work 12, even 16-hour days. So in one day, they work 12 hours. So ang laki ng overtime pay nila. So yun pala yun. So kahit na sabihin mo ng minimum wage sila, since I pay them per hour, there are months na ang salary nila is mataas kasi nga they work longer hours, which they don't mind kasi nga they're working from home. When you work from home, madali lang magtrabaho ng 12 hours eh. Diba? As opposed to you're working in Makati, magbabiyahe ka pa, working 12 hours is impossible given the travel time pa. So yun. So salary-wise, hindi masyadong nagiging issue sa amin. Because yun nga, number one is they're actually getting more than the normal salaries because of their longer work hours. So I guess they love to work because they need to sustain their family. So wala kang employed. Kailangan magtrabaho kasi pinag-aaral ko yung anak ko, yung pamilya ko. No, I hire employees who like to do the work because they like doing the work. So yeah, medyo but if you look hard enough, you can find.
I think we got a bit cut off lang, no? So I think, yeah, there was a bit of a connection issue. Yeah. Yan. Thank you for everyone who's replying to the chat. We'll just wait for Miss Auto to return online, and we'll get a response to that question. Hi, Miss
Yeah, nawala yung connection ko.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I guess just wanted to repeat lang yung response to the question kasi some of the folks mentioned that.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, nawawala eh. Okay, Eunice, yeah, okay, narinig mo na ako.
Yes. Yes.
So, ayan, okay na?
Yes, okay na.
Okay. Okay, sorry. So what was the question?
The question was on yung sa, I guess, promotion ng mga employees in a remote work setting. You mentioned earlier that since your organization was a bit flat, it's not as big of a concern.
Yeah. Okay. So what is the issue?
The question was,
Sorry.
paano daw mo po-promote or paano magpo-progress yung mga employees in a remote work setting. So you mentioned earlier that PinoyTravel is a bit of a flat organization, and I think the progression or the recognition of the contribution is in the salary, not so much yung promotions or change of titles.
Yes, I think it's as I mentioned kanina, no, that's part of that's part of when you hire the people. So I don't hire people who are I know eventually will be looking for better positions, better opportunities, better salaries. Kasi the truth is, when you work for Pinoy Travel, in terms of growth mo, in terms of career growth, there isn't any, there isn't much, no. So I tell my people na before kasi I used to have parang younger Eunice, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. So yun, yung in terms of career growth, no, admittedly there won't be much career growth within Pinoy Travel. So before kasi I had younger employees who are looking for, sabi nila, ano yung career growth nila? Sabi ko, career growth mo is outside Pinoy Travel. So come here, work here, I'll train you. And then eventually, when you think you're ready for a bigger role, go look outside. And I will even help you look for jobs outside when it comes to the right time. So yun. So there isn't much. As I mentioned nga kanina, no, I think the people who would want to stay in Pinoy Travel are those who are not looking for career growth anymore. I think the people who would want to work for Pinoy Travel are those who are looking for contribution na. Alam mo yun, yung parang legacy building stage na. Yes. Which is like me, no? At the stage of my life, hindi na rin ako naghahanap ng anything higher in terms of position or even in terms of salary. But I want to do things that I think will contribute more to the country, to the environment. So ganon. So admittedly, there's none here. So if you know, if a person is looking for career growth, it's not here. You're not gonna find it here.
And then another question we got, I guess a bit of a background lang din. Kenneth asked, do you have partnerships with bus companies to integrate your service with their system?
Yes. Yes. So that's the heart of the business, the partnerships with the bus companies and shipping companies. We have to have those partnerships kasi meron kasing may mga legal implications kasi you don't have formal agreement So we make sure that we partner with only the legitimate transportation companies. So there. So we do establish. Actually, that's the hard part convincing these bus companies to actually have online presence. Kasi even up to now, because I haven't signed up everyone yet. Marami pa rin yung mga nagre-resist to have online presence. So those are the ones that I'm still working on right now. Okay, what else?
And then another question is, in terms of managing your staff, since you mentioned early on in the call na you also have two people that you bring in when necessary during peak season. So Sir Janier was asking, if in case hindi na peak season, do you allow work from home employees to have a second job or an online part-time job?
Well, definitely they have to be dedicated. Yung mga full-time employees have to be working for the company full time. So no, I will not allow them to have part-time jobs elsewhere. Pero kung online, as long as it's not within your work hours, and as long as it does not interfere with your work in PinoyTravel, like halimbawa, during peak season, I need you to work for 12 hours, and then all of a sudden, meron ka palang ibang online job. So that's going to be a problem. So, so far, wala naman sa kanilang merong part-time online job na iba. So, but if ever magkakaroon sila, I think it will be an issue. I will probably have to ask them to choose if they wanna be on dedicated sa PinoyTravel, or doon na lang sila sa online nila. So, ayun. So no, I think it's going to be a problem kung meron silang other part-time jobs.
Okay. And I guess before we wrap up or close the call, I just wanted to ask if you have any other tips for how to make the remote work arrangement work for people, regardless of their industry or size. What are your takeaways from your own experience?
I think what I can share lang is that it's not easy, no. Well, especially now, para everyone is forced to work online kasi because of this corona issue. So everyone is forced to work online. But I think for a long-term basis, it's going to be difficult, no? Kasi there's going to be a cultural change, and it took us 2 to 3 years to find that model that works for us, and I think it's gonna happen to everyone also, except that everyone is forced now to learn it, but on a short basis it's okay. But if this is something that you want to do on a long term basis, you need to give yourself time. No, you have to explore what works for you, what works for the employees, and what works for the company. So don't be afraid to explore, and don't be afraid to change kung ano yung mga set nyo ng rules. If it's not working, then go ahead and look for other ways of doing this in a manner that's applicable to you. Kasi as you mentioned nga kanina, parang it's not, what worked for me may not work for everyone. So you have to keep exploring. Don't be afraid to change if it's not working. And don't be maraming free tools talaga. So we ended up using a lot of tools and not paying for any of the tools that we ended up using. It works. yung mga sinasabi nilang potential way of protecting critical information. You don't need to post everything online. But for those information that na hindi naman masyadong issue in terms of privacy and confidentiality, it should be okay. So, and then when you go online, don't waste people's time, no? Kasi I see other people doing online meetings now na 3 oras, 4 na oras. Sabi ko, you don't have to. Kasi when you work online, you have to be more practical. You have to be more direct to the point when you're working. I don't believe in having an online meeting for 10, 15, or even 8 people. So what we do is we resolve everything on chat, on email, and then if we need to bring everyone else dun sa meeting, pag-uusapan na lang ano yung mga additional discussion. So we don't do online meetings where we discuss everything from scratch. I-resolve mo yan outside, privately with individuals. And then when you go to a meeting, dun na lang pag-uusapan. Okay, pinag-usapan natin ito sa kanina. Ano pa yung mga kailangan pag-usapan? Yung ganon. Ayusin niyo muna yung mga maybe in a small group before you start group. So, yun. So don't be afraid to be direct to the point.
Hi everyone. I think medyo naputol lang ulit yung connection. So just wanted to check if may hahabol pa po for one last question. Just send a message in the group chat. Otherwise, we'll end the call after the last response from Miss Au. Thank you. Hi, Miss Au. Sorry, nakat kayo yata ulit.
Wala ulit. Oo. So anyway, so yun lang yung takeaway ko kanina, no, na, don't be afraid to experiment. Don't, just keep looking for ano yung mga, kung ano yung work from home method that works for you. It's not the same for everyone. Look for a way, yung mapi-peer pressure. If others are doing it a certain way, it doesn't have to be exactly how you should do yours. So see what works. It has to be something that you're comfortable with, something that that you're happy doing.
And I think also from your experience, I think another key thing that I learned tonight that might be helpful as well to the founders or the audience is for the KPIs, it's really yun and being direct talaga in terms of what will really affect the relationships that you have with your key stakeholders and what will really affect the business. So it's not as necessary to transfer parang the certain KPIs or certain parang tools or methodologies from like offline to online if it doesn't benefit or impact the business at the end of the day.
Yes. At the end of the day, I think you have to be very practical. Me coming from the corporate world, masyadong OA yung mga may KPI pa, may mga ganyan. So at the end of the day, simple lang naman ang gusto mo eh. Number 1, your customers are happy. Number 2, your employees are happy. And number 3, you earn enough money to pay for all your expenses and creating some profit for the shareholders. So that's it. So tatlo lang eh. So if you are able to have all of this, you don't need to go through a complicated KPI setting because I think you should spend more time creating value for the company rather than creating this, yung mga internal processes, yung mga internal KPIs na ganyan. So if you have a lot of extra time to do those, it's fine. But at the end of the day, I think you should spend more growing the company than be than creating KPIs and processes when you can actually do it in a very simple way. So, yeah.
Okay, so all right. Thank you everyone for attending our first ever Grit and Grind, and thank you, Miss Au, for your time. We really, really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you everyone. So stay
Thank you.
safe, stay home.
Yes, everyone stay safe. Stay safe, stay home, and good night. Enjoy your dinner. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.